Volvos are most famous for safety, aren't they? But now the V40 proves they're also making a name for themselves in terms of cutting-edge design. And don't worry, you can actually get the car with bigger wheels than these titchy 16 inches. When fitted with bigger rims, in my opinion, the V40 is one of the best looking normal cars on the road today and is every bit as stylish as its avant-garde brother, the C30. Thankfully, the inside is just as pleasing as the outside, with a minimalist dash design and Volvo's trademark floating centre console. And yes, I know, it's been around for a while now, but it still looks fresh. Also behind it, there's a useful storage area. In fact, in-car cubbies are plentiful in the V40. And that, rather neatly, brings us on to practicality. Now, I used to have a C30 and I loved it, apart from the fact it was pretty rubbish at carrying people in the back. But this V40 is way better, so it's going to be a much better car for families. For starters, you have, of course, got some rear doors, and while they may not open that wide, they're still wide enough to get most people into the back. And when you shut them, you realise that you've got some handy stowage spaces even back here. Look, there you go, there's some decent side door bins too. And check this out, you've got some cup holders down there. Now, I'll just put that away because what I actually want to show you is what Volvo have done with the seats. They've moved the outer ones inwards slightly, so when there's just two of you sit here, you get more shoulder room. Another advantage of this system is that you're not looking directly at the headrest in front of you. You get a better view out. There is a trade-off, the small central seat and the fact you do get a big transmission tunnel. Two things I'd normally complain about, but because Volvo have tried to do something different here, I'm going to let them off. And anyway, when you sit here, you'll notice that even adults have enough knee room and headroom, though be warned, if you go for the optional panoramic glass roof, it does eat into headspace. And that brings us on to the V40's comprehensive list of extras, which includes an auto park facility that does the steering for you, so you can just sit back and relax without worrying about accidentally scraping someone's £80,000 Porsche. Then there's a customisable digital display, which lets you choose different themes depending on your mood, and a glow-in-the-dark gear knob too. Ooh. Volvo has always been a world leader in safety, and this car's got a really clever piece of pioneering kit, an airbag for pedestrians. And that pops up from under the bonnet to cushion their blow should you accidentally knock them down. However, there's a way to avoid that happening in the first place. All V40s come with Volvo's City Safe system, which automatically brakes the car to prevent you rear-ending other cars at low speed. But you can upgrade that system so it detects people. And I'll show you how that works now by trying to drive into my camera girl. Hopefully it's going to work. Yeah, it did. Oh, I don't think she's quite as happy about it as I am. We better get out of here. Sorry. Oh, dear. As well as their pioneering safety, Volvos are of course famous for their comfort, and the V40, it's no exception. You could easily do loads of miles on the motorway in this thing because the seats, well, they're like your easy armchair at home, and the car is generally quiet at speed. All you get is a bit of noise from the tyres if you're driving on rough surfaces. However, unlike other Volvos, this car actually really impresses in the handling stakes, and part of the reason for that is that underneath its skin, it's based on the Ford Focus. Now, I know the C30 was also based on the old Ford Focus, but somehow Volvo engineered the fun out of that car, but with this one, they haven't. So then, the V40, it steers and handles very well indeed. Yet despite its impressive dynamic capability, it's still not quite as engaging to drive as the rear-wheel drive BMW 1 Series. And if I'm being honest, while the ride is generally very good, if the road gets a bit bumpy, the car can tend to fidget about a bit. And then there's the engines. The 1.6 litre diesel in this car, it can return 78.5 miles per gallon, and it's easily fast enough for most people. Yet overall, the engine range in the V40 isn't as good as you get in the German cars. Another problem I have is that the car's multimedia interface isn't as easy to use as that on a Lexus CT200H. And really, what's with all these buttons down there, these telephone buttons? That's a bit old-fashioned, isn't it? Because let's face it, no one nowadays remembers anyone's phone number, do they? You just have it automatically stored in your phone. In fact, the only number I know is my own, and I'm not going to call that because the conversation would be rather predictable, as I'd always know what I was going to say next. Finally, we need to talk about the boot, which isn't as good as on an Audi A3. The shape is a bit awkward. There's a large boot lip and another lip when you fold the seats down. Now you can get rid of this by fitting a divider, but this is fiddly to use and is a £100 optional extra, when really it should be standard. Still, it does the job. And that's the thing with the Volvo V40, you see. While it might not quite be the class leader in many key areas, it's not far off. And if it's pioneering safety and drop-dead gorgeous looks you want, then none of its rivals can top it. Subscribe to the CarBuyer channel for our latest videos. Click here to see our reviews of other hatchbacks. And don't forget to rate, share, favourite and comment on this video.